Okay, let's get started. Game number 2 here in the IEM New York Asia Qualifier. Stage 3, it's the final stage. The top 2, I believe it's the top 2 contestants or competitors, whatever, not contestants, this isn't The Price is Right, will go through to, they'll get the expenses paid trip over to New York for IEM New York. So, you know, quite a lot is on the line there, and there's obviously a lot over in New York to be playing for. So let's jump into game number 2 up at the top left hand side of Akalon Wastes as our red Zerg player. Unfortunately, going down in game number 1, was not able to deal with the heavy gateway pressure that came back across the map to take him down. It is Exile 5's PiG.
Indeed, and San dealing beautifully with that last game, and he is in the bottom right corner in the blue as the Protoss. And just looking at a couple of his achievements here, this year he took out second in Asus Rogue Summer for $5,000, losing to Tasia. And previously he's come third, fourth in GSL twice. That was in 2011, so quite a while ago, losing to MC and MVP. And looks like he's been in a lot of minor tournaments that he's taken down. Just a big list there, like Korean Weekly, IGN, Pro League Season 5 Regional, just a couple of small tournaments there. And PiG, he does really well in the C scene. If you look at his Liquipedia page, there's so many tournaments he's won in the C scene. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, he's certainly one of the top contenders here for, you know, pretty much one of the, you know, best players that we have down here. Of course, Betrayus over there being casted by Apollo and Kalaris are also, he's also one of our big players down here in the C region. So I'll be interested to see how that match has gone. Of course, you guys can jump over onto their stream and have a look and, you know, let us know how that game goes as well.
Yeah, I'd love to hear how it's going, actually, because I'm really interested in how Pet does. Obviously, he's on my team as well, and I think he's got a chance. Even though it might be small, I think he's going to do well.
Yeah. I was talking to some people, and they were saying, yeah, he definitely has a chance. It's not probably not the best of odds, and you'd still probably place a bet on innovation. But, I mean, if there is anyone like sort of a young, sort of up-and-coming star who can have a shot at taking down innovation, I would certainly go with Pet for that honour. But as you can see, Pig's going to go for 3 hatch before pull, something which we have seen. I've seen him do this quite a bit on this particular map as well. He loves to go for this after you know, scouting out that his opponent likes to go for gateway expands, and of course San is going to go for that gateway expand yet again. So we'll see how Pig wants to deal with this.
I think Pig definitely realised that San seems to be a gateway expand player. Last game just going for the hatch block straight away, it's great against gateway expand, and now just going for the 3 hatch before pull straight into gas as well. So he definitely knows that San prefers the gateway expand. He's probably done some research, which is really nice to see. I wonder if San will mix in some Forge Fast expands or Nexus first. It looks like right now he just wants to go for those gateway expands. But this is a great opener for Pig. He's getting that gas really early, so any pressure that comes he's going to be able to deal with really well. And behind that, he's going to have a massive economy from those 3 hatches. He can hold off the pressure, and then once the pressure's held off, he's going to have so much lava that he can just turn into drones.
Yeah, that's right. He's gonna have it's just a massive kick once you 3 base and all those drones get running. It just becomes crazy the amount of production that you have. Yeah, just to point out, OMG, Pig actually took out MVP last weekend. I would link the VOD, but we haven't done it yet. But yeah, he took out MVP in some really cool games that we had up in Sydney, which was casted by myself and also Zeph. Zeph is in the chat. You can say hello to Zeph there. But yeah, I remember, because San's been around for a very long time.
Yeah.
He's one of those players who's been around since the very early GSL seasons, and he was one of the players I really like to watch, because sometimes he'd bring out carriers and things like that. But I obviously doubt we're going to get to that stage of the game here, but Pig having a little bit of trouble at his front door. He's going to have to deal with some zealots that are going to probably warp in a moment. The Mothership Core doing her best to try and fend off these Lings from slapping down that pylon, but it looks like the Zealot is going to be the first target of choice here for the Lings. Taking that down, the Mothership Core is also going to hang around for a moment, but I don't think that San is going to get too much done here for the moment.
Yeah, the great thing that Pig did there, he got the Overlord up next to the pylon so we could see if there's any warp-ins coming, which means as soon as he sees there's no warp-in, he can just go straight back to drone. He did build quite a lot of lings. Oh, there is actually a warp-in coming, even though the lings are coming out. I don't think this warp-in is going to be that great. The Mothership Core is going to have to get out of there as well. And I think these Zealots are just going to go down to all the lings that Pig produced, so that worked out really well for Pig. And now he's going to be able to drone like crazy. He's on 24 drones right now against 30 probes. That looks bad, but he's got 3 hatches and a ton of lava, and he's got speed up, so there's going to be no pressure coming from San for a while, except for this Stargate, which is probably going to produce Phoenix. Maybe an Oracle first, some people seem to like to do that nowadays, but really, Pig's going to be able to drone like crazy. As you can see, 10 drones on the production tab right now, and his economy is just going to start kicking off.
This is a little bit of a scary situation.
Oh,
there it is. There it is. I was going to say, that is a little bit of a flimsy wall off there for San at the front. Some of the lings do make their way in. They're not going to get a huge amount done, but they did take out, I believe that was 2 sentries that were taken out in the process. But this is the problem with having to set up your wall like this when you've got the pylon there. You have to slot the unit in the perfect spot, like just in there. It has to be perfect. You have to be holding position, and I don't know, sometimes it seems like sentries are malnutrition just units, because they actually let things in all the time. It's a little bit crazy, but yeah, Pig gets in, has a quick look. He did get to see that there was a Stargate there, and forced out a photon overcharge, which is always nice.
And Pig smartly controlling those watchtowers there. He sees the Oracle moving across the map, which is going to allow him to build a Spore Crawler just in time. He's not overcommitting either. He's not throwing down one at each base. He knows the Oracle is probably going to be coming to the main base, so he just puts one down there for now. And then he'll probably put some down in the other bases later on, which means he can just save up a couple more minerals, get a couple more drones before he really needs more Spore Crawlers. But now the Oracle is going to go straight to natural, and because he's got that Spore Crawler, it's got a chance to do some damage. There is a Queen here. Let's see what it can do.
Should be able to fend that off for the moment, but the third base also a possible target here. The Oracle comes across, and that may actually just go down right now. The 2 queens nicely micro by Pig does get away in just the nick of time, but back at home for San, we can see his forge is now done. He's gone for a relatively nicely timed third base. I'm interested to see how he's going to maneuver from here, because a lot of players, you know, they see a Zerg get a very fast third, and you kind of think, well, I need to get something done. I need to either get a huge boost to my own economy, or I need to do something very too basey. And for San, he's decided to go for the economy boost himself, but that is just going to give Pig time to get his own economy in a beautiful spot. As we can see, 68 drones are out at the moment for Pig. We'll probably see that increase just a tiny bit more very soon, and as he prepares for the possible attacks that may come across, with, as we can see, lots of sentries and a few zealots also on the way for San.
Yeah, I think he might actually drone up quite a lot more once this attack is cleaned up, of course. This is just going to be a bit of pressure. I don't think he's looking to do a lot of damage here. He might get some damage done, but there is a couple of roaches coming out now, and lings as well. He's got a lot of queens as well. These queens are going to be good. They've got transfuses on there. And we're going to see what San can do with this. There is a pylon going down, so maybe he wants to do more with this than I thought. He's got 18 roaches on the way for Pig. They need to pop real soon. The queen's coming forward, trying to do a bit of damage. Force field goes down, trapping 1 queen outside, but the other 2 do survive. They're the ones with the energy. They're the important ones. And now he's moving down to his third base. He's got quite a few force fields on here, but not many units, really. Once the roaches do get out, then they're going to be able to move across here, and there's not enough force fields to completely wall off, but he can just recall like that, and that's it. He forced units, he's out of there. And now Pig is going to be slower with droning in his fall. As you can see, he's going for Swarm Host though. He's been able to go into Swarm Host Hydra. I really like this composition. Who did it recently? I think it was Hiver. It's really good on this map because it's such an easy 4 base, and if they move across the map, you can put spines in the middle. And generally with this, you push with Swarm Host Hydra and go up to Hive really fast so you can get Broodlords out as well.
Yeah, it's wow. How did that perk get in? I got all the way across into the 4th base. But yeah, you used to see it quite a lot. You know, when this map was used quite a lot more in tournaments and things like that. People love to throw out the old Swarm Host play. You get to see Sulky was once a player who'd love to get that out there as well. And I think it is a really strong strategy. Now, one thing that we have seen here from San is a second Stargate. He wants to get these Void Rays out as quickly as he can. So he's going to be able to get a lot of those units out there. Very strong. Pig is going to probably scout this out as he moves across towards the 3rd base. It looks like, yeah, he'll find that second Stargate is there. So he'll be able to make adjustments based on that. And as you can see, a big round of drones just finished off for Pig. He's up to 87 now, and his economy is about to start kicking.
Yeah, and as soon as he saw those void rays, he started production of hydras. Only 2 right now, but that's probably because he's slacking on lava for a bit. But as soon as the lava kicks in from those injects, probably be quite a few more hydras coming in, along with the swarm hosts. That'll work really well dealing with those void rays, especially with these queens as well. He's still got 4 queens that he can use. Oh, that mothership core, so close. I didn't think that was going to get anywhere near close, but 10 HP on that. And yeah, we'll see where he goes from there. Again, he's picking up the hive really fast, so probably wants to look to pick up broodlords at some point. It helps a lot just pushing through, because swarm hosts, they solidify a position. They don't really end the game. They just throw units at them, they keep clearing them up with their units, and you're kind of just stuck in this position on the map. But once you get broodlords out, that's when you can really start pushing and just trading armies.
Really interesting little clump of roaches that have gone up towards the 4th base here, and San has, so the roaches can just sit down the back. The Nexus, of course, won't actually see that until it's finished up, and PiG might be able to snipe down quite a few of the probes that hit over there very soon, so we'll see if that comes about. But for the meantime, San just sitting back. He's got some Archons on the way, lots of Void Rays, of course, up in the air. We've actually stopped production of all the air units, apart from this single Oracle that's on the way, so he's San's just sort of getting prepared, just wanting to make sure he's going to have the right composition here to deal with these swarm hosts that are starting to come out, and also looking to send across a few zealots to keep an eye on what his opponent is up to. But PiG, his upgrades are starting to come about as well. We've got +2 on his weapons, just about to finish up. We can see that San also has his own +3, sorry, is just about to finish up for him, and also +1 weapons also on the way. So lots of upgrade work coming along, especially now that San is about to push across.
Yeah, it's a pretty nasty army for San there, but not too much AoE. The Archon's going to be able to do quite a lot of AoE, but it's not as good as having Colossi at the back there. He's moving forward, but these Locusts just going to be able to push him back. And it looks like PiG actually going to go for the more defensive swarm host style. I was thinking that he was going to go for the fast brood lords, but it looks like he wants to get the Vipers and sit behind spores and spines, like that really old school style. I think Stefano kind of popularized this one a bit earlier on in Heart of the Swarm, but recently there's been a lot of people just going fast broodlords and pushing with that, but PiG just going for this style, and here comes an engagement. Archon's at the front doing a lot of damage to those roaches. He doesn't care too much about losing these units. His main army is these swarm hosts at the back behind all the spines, and now he's going to look to get infestors as well, and that's going to help out a lot, locking down units that he pulls in with the Vipers.
Yeah, we'll have that really powerful, like the supporting cast here is obviously the infestors and those vipers that come out, but of course the swarm hosts are just so powerful when they have proper support. It's something which you know, a lot of players sometimes when you're first sort of playing around with swarm hosts, you think, well, these are kind of cool, we'll just get a bunch of them out, but you do need to have really good support to make sure that they do, you know, they can't be sort of run around or anything like that by Protoss players, or switch into large amounts of Colossi or something like that that can catch you off guard every now and then. But as you can see, San's going to send a couple of zealots down across the bottom side of the map. While that's going on, a War Prism has made its way inside the main base. PiG, for probably the first time I have ever seen, is a little bit underprepared for this. Some of these zealots will get some work done. The swarm host will be forced to cancel for the moment. Meanwhile, the Archons and the Void Rays still trying to get some work done across on the side of the map. But San is now inside the main base. Will he be able to get some damage done here? The Hydra's finally coming back across, and PiG will clean that up. We'll probably see him leave like 2 or 3 Hydras here. This is what he normally does. Yeah, just going to leave a few of those just off to the side. So that's going to be it, and the Protoss forces are forced to head back home for the moment.
Yeah, and actually during that engagement in the main, San did lose a couple of units in the middle of the map whilst he was clearing out that creep. Just a couple of zealots, but not efficient engagements against those swarm hosts, and you can see that through the bank that these players have got. A massive bank for PiG right there, 2k minerals and 1k gas, whereas for San, even though he's got 4 bases up, he's only got 600 bank, both of the resources. And actually PiG just banking up a lot, not actually going to 200. He's getting 2 spires right now, so probably going to go for a muta switch at some point if his army gets cleaned up. Or we could just be going for a lot of Corruptors and going for that Broodlord style as well. There's a lot of things you can do as Zerg at this point in the game. There's all the tech switches, or you can just go for the kind of Deathball army with the Broodlords. I think we're going to have a very passive game here, DUCKVILLE. I don't think San's going to be looking to engage into this spine crawler wall at any point, and I don't think PiG is going to be looking to move across the map without the spine crawlers. He's going to look at spreading this creep and try to move the spine crawlers forward, but without the creep, he's just going to be stuck on his side of the map.
Yeah, that's actually. I was about to ask you. Would you start to move forward with the spine crawlers and the spores and all these things right now, or would you just wait a little bit longer until those broodlords start to come out?
Wow, great!
Wow.
Pulls in there, lost 4 Archons. Great play by Pig, just abducting all of those Archons. And that is not what San wants right there. That was all of his AoE, except for the Storms. Like, those Archons were a big part of his army. Now he's got to rebuild them, and the bank's getting huge for Pig. He really needs to take that 5th base at the bottom left, though. He's got DTs and Zealots down there that just keep denying it. And his main is mining out right now, so he really wants to look at getting that real soon, so that he can start building up an even bigger bank. And yeah, I think he should move across the map with spines and spores slowly. You don't want to go off creep, obviously, and as you can see, because he's got all these queens, he can keep spreading the creep, and eventually he will get his creep onto San's side of the map, as long as San isn't too great with denying it.
Yeah, that's it. It's just like, it's very similar to how you know, the slow turtly kind of version of mech can play out sometimes. This Swarm host unfortunately got left out, that rally sort of issue that can happen from time to time, catching out that poor fella. But meanwhile, we can see the Infestors having to deal with some of these units across on the left side of the map, just fungling down a few of those, few of the DTs and the Zealots that are there. I'm a little bit unsure about this movement here from Pig. Like, without the Infestors, without the Vipers, I mean, gotta be careful when you're maneuvering these units around, because the Protoss can very, very easily just sort of avoid the conflict there, just sort of run around and try and avoid the Swarm host. But as we can see, San trying to take advantage of the mobility of his units here, dropping in a few Zealots inside the 4th base. Is now going to bring in some DTs and some Zealots, but the Hydras that were left back at home by Pig, picking off that Warp Prism. Very nicely done, and a great tactic to always keep in mind. If you are going to play a little bit more of this passive Swarm host style, is you need to
High Templars in the middle of the map. They're all... Oh, they do turn back, but one of them got picked off there. It looked like the rest were going to get picked off as well. San just failing a bit on the control there. I think he's a bit confused what to do now. Finally, picking up a couple more Stargates, that's going to allow him to get the Tempest, which is what he really needs to break the position of Pig. But if he doesn't have Tempest, it's pretty much impossible to break. You need that range so you can attack the Spine Crawlers without taking damage. And the thing is, the bank for Pig behind this is just getting ridiculous now. He's going to be able to do some insane Muta Switch. Again, I still really wanted to see him to take that 5th base down at the bottom left. Now San moving across the map, going to deny a bit of this creep, maybe even look to get into the 3rd base, whilst Pig is at the other side of the map with his Swarmers, moving them back now. There come the Locusts, and once the next swarm of Locusts come through, then he's probably going to run away. Yeah, just cleaning up a bit of creep there for San. There comes some Locusts, but not too many. Is San going to go for it? No.
Nice abductions.
Yeah, nice abductions again.
Yeah, just sort of slowly but surely is the motto here for Pig. He's slowly going to get that creep across the map, set up some of these spine crawlers. What you really want to do here is sort of set up a zone of control where these spine crawlers can stop any Protoss forces from coming through, which then means that your swarm hosts at the back can start sending through all of the Locusts to attack into the bases. But as we can see, Pig's he's just slowly getting there as San actually starts to add in a few more Colossi to bring in their extra AoE damage. But for the moment, it looks as if Pig has, well, I don't know, I kind of feel like this is in Pig's hands for the moment, but once those, wow, he is going to carriers. He's going carriers, it's all good, guys. So we will have carriers and probably Tempest, as Fenner mentioned, which really do make the battles a little bit more interesting. But a nice abduct from Pig, pulls one of the Colossi out, I believe that was, and snipes that down. And you know, this is the really interesting thing about Swarm Host play, is that you want to try and get those the Templar into range to throw down Storms on top of the Hydras, on top of the Swarm Hosts themselves. But as long as those Locusts are there, you just cannot go near them, because a couple of shots and they're done. That is how those guys work. So very frail. You got to keep them protected up at the back of the big group of forces.
This is a nice little wave of Locusts for Pig coming across now. Maybe able to hit this 4th base for San pretty hard. All the Corruptors actually going into that battle and taking a lot of damage. Storms going down on those. But let's have a look at these Locusts real quick. They don't do too much. They end up dying before they get there. And now Pig is actually supply block, kind of funneling. He's going to build a couple of Overlords there. Again, why is he not taking that 5th base, DUCKVILLE? He needs it.
Yeah,
soon. He can build up the bank like this, but he could get it so much faster if he just took another base.
Yeah, I'm at a bit of a loss. Like, I mean, like this base, of course, is very far away, and it's you know, you do need to set up some really good defenses. But he's at a point where he can just say, all right, here's 30 drones. Let's just whack them down into spine crawlers because you know it doesn't actually matter at this point. So. I am a little bit surprised that he hasn't taken that yet. It looks as if he wants to maneuver his way up towards the sort of the 12 o'clock position here and set up shop there, but even that, I'm not too sure about that. Of course, the one bonus of setting up a base here is that you have a really good entry into the Protoss side of the map, but I don't know. I kind of agree. It has been a very long time for him to try and take this base, and now carriers are out. Of course, carriers not the most of the seen units in StarCraft 2, unfortunately, but they are out at the moment. They have arrived, and they are going to come across and try and help out with all of these Zerg units that are slowly coming around the map.
Oh, it looks like Pig's moving in with the Hydralisk. There's Duck there on the mothership core. Nice pick off. Now there's no recall energy, there's no time warp energy and all that good stuff. And San, this creep is slowly getting more and more forward. At some point, Pig might just decide to move everything he has across the map and just take an amazing position just outside of San's base here. And now San's just going to move up to defend his fourth. Pig, oh actually San got a Zealot down there at the bottom left. I thought that was finally a drone going down there. But Hydra chasing that probe away as well. Nice by Pig, just going to find that pylon as well. So yeah, very, very passive game. Look at the upgrades for Pig right now. He's got 3 flyer upgrades, so a Mutilus switch will be insane at this point. And obviously his Corruptors are going to be really strong as well. And if we look at the upgrades for San, not that great on his air units. He's got +1 armor and +2 shields, but other than that, there's not too much there. So Pig definitely ahead in the upgrades, and if he can get a really good engagement, I think he can take it down. Again, I think San's pretty confused about what to do. I think he should mix in some Tempest and just start raining down some chaos on that static defense of Pig.
This is a point where I actually think the mothership, like the proper mothership, is actually really needed, because you need to be able to cloak the Templar on the ground. Of course, we mentioned before, the Templar are a really key unit here. The Storm's just able to knock down large clumps of the Zerg units very, very quickly, but they can't get into the fights without having some sort of protection. And the cloak from the mothership can really help out with that, but unfortunately, none of that so far from San. Hasn't even attempted an upgrade just as of yet, but one thing we can see from San, he's actually trying to take these bases.
Oh, nice abducts from Pig, picking up 3 carriers there. Will he get the third, actually? It looks like he might just get 2. Corruptor's going in for the last one. There we go. And that is nice play by Pig, just moving into position, picking off a carrier or 2. And that hurts San quite a lot. He has actually got a massive bank right now compared to Pig, because he has been picking up those bases, which Pig hasn't been doing. Still no 5th base for Pig right there. Now his 3rd base is mined out. His 4th base is going to be on the way to mining out soon too, and it looks like Pig just wants to play off 4 bases for the entire game. He's just relying on his super death ball to clean up San's army, but I think at some point the bank, the San, is going to come into play.
Here we go, he's finally going to take this base. It looks like the DT finds the target of choice being that drone, but the spine crawler should be able to clean that DT up. There we go. And finally, I think Pig is going to move across to the top side and take that 5th base, but I mean, this is a point where he should probably be taking a 6 as well. Like, there's, you know, we'd be expecting right now to be saying he's taking a 6th base or a 7th base right now, but I mean, he's barely just heading over to take a 5th. So this has been a very slow economy game from Pig. Like, he boosted himself up right at the start with the 3 hatch before pull, but after that it sort of got very stagnant with this kind of this turtley kind of play. And now San with 5 carriers down. He's also got a little group of 4 Colossi out there as well. He's going to clean up this base, and now Pig, he could be in a little bit of trouble. I mean, if he cannot secure that base, as you mentioned, San's bank is now up to 5,000 minerals and almost 4,000 gas. He's going to be able to resupply as long as he has the production capabilities ready. He can resupply very quickly, but nice snipe off of the mothership core there by Pig, abduct, and then a few Corruptor shots take that down. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of getting a little bit scary, because San's going to be able to throw down, he can throw down extra robos, extra stargates, and all these kinds of things to be able to just reproduce very quickly, because he has that massive bank available. So it's going to get to a point where he's going to get a little bit zergy and just start trading sometimes, just because he certainly has the power to do so. He needs to pick up a couple of these upgrades, but he can certainly have the power to start engaging in some of these fights and looking for some more good battles here. But he will have some trouble if those infestors get really good fungals.
Oh, he's going to get a couple of interceptors there with those fungals. They're all going to go down. He's going to rebuild those. But that's nice and easy. He's rich right now. He's got 6.5k minerals in the bank. Going to walk around and clean up this creep. These locusts keep moving up and trying to do a bit of damage, but there's just way too much AoE for San right now. He can kill them. They're probably picking off a zealot or two every time they go in, but the damage is very, very minimal at this point. And now San is up to his 6th base. He did mine a bit from that top one as well, I think, at some point.
Just a little. But here we go,
actually,
another abduction in the middle of the map. It looks like a carrier does go down. We can see the revelations thrown out on top of the Corruptors, giving a little bit of a view of where they are going, and some wonderful storms from San tear apart the Corruptors, and we can see that Pig is going to have to be very careful with those Corruptors for the moment, as they do need to heal up. He may need to remake some. We've got 10 on the production tab right now, but well, catches out a couple of carriers, some nice fungals, picks up maybe one carrier here, one more volley Pig, there you go, does take that one down. But San, I mean, as we said, he's just got the production to be able to continually engage in these fights. He loses a carrier, loses a Colossus, he's going to say, well, that's no big deal, I don't really mind too much, I've got another, like, 15 carriers in the bank ready to roll. So this is starting to get a little bit hectic right now, and San is going to try and assert a little bit more of his dominance with some zealots coming across the left-hand side of the map. Going to take down some of the static defense here in the buffet buildings, the Evo chambers just sitting in the middle there. Those are for those Vipers to go to work on and have lunch, but none of that has really been going on. We've just had a massive sort of static defense set up by Pig, and now the carriers, the Void Rays, the Archons, Colossi, and all the things are now starting to piece themselves together. They're going to start mowing down some of these units slowly but surely. What would you do here,
God.
Phil?
He's using infestors to deal with his zealots. That's not the best thing. He's got no real ground. He's got a couple of hydras, and they're going to work now. But using a lot of fungals and infested Terrans there as well, that's not really what you want. And what would I do? I would take another base, DUCKVILLE. Like I just think he has to. Like, at some point, he's gonna get dried out.
Do you think there's, like, from your perspective, what's your, if you're in Pig's head right now, why isn't he taking that extra base?
I think he's just, because there were a lot of zealot warp-ins down there earlier, he's probably thinking, oh, I'm not gonna get it. I've been down there a couple of times to try and get it, but there's been zealots down there. Oh, High Templars doing the feedbacks as well. Oh, loads of Vipers going down. Great play by San there, and this is the thing that hurts Pig the most. He's 170 supply right now. Once he reinforces all those units that he just lost, he's going to be having a pretty bad bank in comparison to San. He's even building Hydras right now. They're not the units that you want at this point in the game. Another Zealot warp in at the mid-left of the map, going to walk into these Spine Crawlers. I'm not sure if these are necessary, but they are pulling Pig around so he can look for a better engagement in the main armies, and Pig pulling actually all of his Corruptors back. They're way out of position. So if San noticed this, then he could probably move in. But again, he doesn't. It's so hard for San to think, oh, I'm just going to move into this swarm host mass spore position. Like, he probably just wants to play it safe and look for really good openings.
Yeah, San, I kind of like the way he's doing this. Just being very patient. He's going to continually warp in units across on the side here, and he's just going to just play this sort of game where it's just a battle of attrition here, where he's just trying to slowly chip away at the bases. I mean, you know, this is a mined out base, of course, but eventually he's gonna have to commit some of the forces across to this side to deal with this, and that will open up a space for San to push in, and I think actually that time might be now. We can see that San is slowly pushing through. He's up to the static D. A couple of good fungals will go down. The Spore Crawlers going to town on those on the carriers there. The Void Rays now coming through, activating their prismatic alignment. Really good fungals, just catching out everything there. But it seems that San has slowly picked up quite a few kills. He's going to recall back home to the 5th base, and while this has been going on, Zealots have cleaned out the Hydras that came to defend, and it looks as if San may be looking for a kill on the Spires here, but I don't think he's going to get it, unfortunately for him. But he has been causing all sorts of havoc over the map, and this has allowed him to set up a 7th Nexus up at the top side of the map here, and this just does not bode well for Pig.
I like how Pig's mining from that mineral field where his Nexus is and just stealing the minerals. But Pig's base, 4th base, is almost mined out now, so this is basically all of his money that he's got for the rest of the game, unless he does decide to take that bottom left base. He's got 2,500, 2,500. That's what he will have once he's mined out that base, and not many spore crawlers left for Pig, so he's probably going to have to invest some into spore crawlers, because you do need those against the kind of army that San has right now with the little air, anti-air that Pig has. Actually, where's his corruptors gone now? Where are they gone?
They have...
There they are.
There they are.
They've been flying around everywhere, just taking in the sights, and yeah, San's got a pylon at this bottom left base, so... Oh, he's even going to take the Nexus.
He's just, yeah, I mean, and like you said before, building the Hydras that Pig had to build at one point, it's you know, it's getting to that stage where you kind of look through the early stages of the game. You say roaches and lings, all right, they're cool units. You get to sort of 20, 30 minutes, and you say roaches and lings, they're completely useless. Why would I ever build them? You get to this stage right now where it's like Hydras. Okay, they're also pretty much useless at this stage because the carriers have got their 3-3-3. We can see that San is going to be pushing through the middle now with Storms, with Void Rays, Colossi as well, mowing down all of those.
Fungal could be huge. Oh, he just
really good. Just recalling in time. A little bit of a splash of the fungal does hit the units, but they do get out. And yeah, Pig, I mean, without the bases, like, I mean, it was looking really good for him earlier on when he was slowly starting to push the creep through, but San has just taken his time and has been able to slowly whittle down Pig's forces.
Yeah, Pig's kind of in a position now where he really... There's a couple of Rob Ducks there, but
Nicely
he can
done.
just rebuild those units. Nice little play by him, though. But he really can't take that bottom left base now. He's too secure in this position. He'd have to move all of his spore crawlers down if he wanted to do that. And San's just going to keep poking forward, going to look for little engagements, but he's going to see these spore crawlers, and I think he's going to back off. A couple of interceptors going out there trying to pick up the Vipers. The spore crawlers actually going down really fast, looking for Fungals. Gets a couple on the High Templars. They're going to go down 3 or 4 High Templars in that mix. Locust going forward, and he did pick up 4 Templars there, so nice little win for Pig. But again, it's all about the banks at this point, Duckville, and at some point, Pig... Neither of these players have to engage. Like, San doesn't have to walk across the map and kill him. I think Pig has to be the one that does that, but how does he do that?
Yeah,
I don't think he can. Has he got Queens out? He needs to get some creep going, but he's kind of just stuck in this position, and we're in like an awkward situation where both players don't want to engage, but San has got more bases than Pig. He's got more bank. It's weird.
TT comes across to the top base where Pig is attempting to take this. I think this is like attempt number 3 or 4 of trying to get this hatchery down. The DT is looking like it may get a kill, but a single Broodlord with its 3-3 comes along. And, oh, in fact, the hatchery does not get cancelled. It does get taken out.
This could be it, Duckville.
Yeah, this could be it right here because, as we can see, yeah, there's like nothing over here. Pig is just completely out of position. Unfortunately for him, the carries are nicely split up, as we can see. Single abduction coming out, takes down one of the carriers, but the forces are just far too powerful. The Colossi cleaning up the Locusts on the ground, slowly burning down all of those infestors as well, but another salvo of Locust does come out, and they should be able to clean up most of the units on the ground, but then that still leaves all of these carriers, the Void Rays that are here, and in fact the single Templar does survive with 200 energy, and I mean, it's kind of weird, but this carrier force is looking like it is going to clean the rest of this up, and Pig has now lost both of his Spires, and that is going to put him in a very tough position. 6 infestors are on the production tab for Pig, and that is about it right now, because everything else has been slowly torn apart.
They're nice ducks, but I don't think it's going to be enough. There's 7 Void Rays at a time coming out for San. San is going to be able to push through. He might lose all of these units, but with his bank, he's going to be able to regenerate a massive army. The Crotas trying to do the damage they need on these carriers. Can they take them down? I think there's too many interceptors. That Void Ray doing a lot of damage as well. I think this might be the end for Pig. 2 carriers left, and these Corruptors, these are the last Corruptors for Pig. And now there's a bunch of Void Rays on the other side of the map for San that he has produced. Even if these carriers go down, the Void Rays for San that he's built from his massive bank are just going to decimate Pig, and the carriers are actually still standing. There's no Corruptors left. There's going to be a couple of infested Terrans coming down. The Locusts unfortunately can't hit air. The Spore Crawlers moving forward to try and do something, but unfortunately they can't chase the carriers down. And now look at all these Void Rays for San Duckville.
Yeah, there's quite a few Void Rays on the way, and we can see that he, you know, is sitting up there in the upgrade count as well. 333. Game is, I mean, this has been, I would say this has probably been over for a little while now with Pig struggling to take that extra base. But I mean, if it wasn't before, it definitely is now. With San just saying have some carriers, and even then the 3 carriers didn't die. We can see we've got 1 here with 11 health left over. But this is going to be the end of PiG right here, I think, folks, because the Zealots on the ground, Archons there as well, a few Templar up at the front, some carriers, and then the fleet of Void Rays now just starting to fly their way through. Some beautiful storms from San on top of the majority of these units. The drones somehow trying to run through. I don't think they're going to have the best workday heading towards the mineral line there, but that is going to be it for PiG, as game number 2 will go the way of San here. Carriers and Void Rays, the story of the day for this particular match. But for PiG, I think, yeah, just some real issues with taking that 5th base, with securing extra bases. And, I mean, it was just far too hard for him to be able to, you know, continue on in the game. Like, of course, you do get to a point where that kind of swarm host play is really good, but I mean, without those extra bases to back it up, then you can face those kinds of issues where the Protoss just gets everything all working together quite nicely. You get upgrades, you get carriers, and of course we were looking for Tempest, but we didn't see any of them. But you know, Tempest carriers, as I mentioned, like Mothership, can also really help out. And as long as you're maneuvering correctly, abusing things like Warp Prisms as well to try and draw the Zerg out of position, then you know, it just gets really hard to deal with that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think PiG had the right idea. They're just playing defensive, but he really needed more economy.